Hey Aaron, guess what I just came across?
What's that?
Schmeat.
Schmeat.
Yes, it's Schmeat. It's lab-grown meat that's going to come out this month in London. It's basically a vision of the future of meat.
A Soylent Green vision of the future?
It's in vitro meat that they're saying will provide people a way to eat ethically while still kind of getting that meat fix. Not really sure what that means exactly.
Ew.
Apparently it costs $338,000 to make a 140-gram patty, and 2 years also. And basically what they did was they scraped cells from the neck of cows and grew meat in very tiny quantities in petri dishes, and they just kept repeating that procedure thousands of times until they got enough to make a hamburger patty. And this article talks about how PETA thinks it's awesome, and they've actually put out a $1 million prize for the first person who can come up with in vitro chicken. So they're envisioning a wonderful future where growing in vitro meat is just so advanced and wonderful that you could have an appliance in your kitchen that does it for you. Or there'll be bioreactors at restaurants. That sounds yummy. And the lady's saying they think it's going to be artisanal and unique and exciting. But then they went and asked this head chef at Calgary's notable restaurant. And he said, "I don't get it, and it scares the heck out of me."
I don't get it either.
He's skeptical about the way it's going to taste. And I guess the university physiology professor that's going to grill this patty they've come up with admits that no one knows the conditions of culturing the meat and how that's going to affect the taste. And then he goes on to say, or even where the taste of meat comes from. Well, I'm going to go ahead and guess it comes from actual natural cows. I don't know, what do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and point out how Bill Gates, among others, has been promoting a vegetarian world where you can't really have access to meat. And you've seen those futuristic portrayals of the world to come and everything where meat is rationed and only for your birthday, and basically you have to eat everything but. And you know, we covered before in our video how is the meat we're eating already cloned, and you go back to our whole modern livestock was based on the Rockefeller grandson, who was the first to develop artificial insemination after his parents, the first generation of John D. Rockefeller, had geneticists living on their labs. And this is how we got to the point where we're at with cloned meat and genetically modified everything. This whole trend has been developing for a long time. It's awfully creepy.
And then there's also this. 3D food printers. I actually first heard about this last year. They were putting them in high-end New York restaurants and making desserts from them, and they basically
took... Is that the food?
That is actually the food, yeah, those geometric shapes there, that's the food. But they would take this glop and stick it in a machine, and it would print out desserts, and it was supposed to be real hip and trendy. And even this Time newsfeed article, in a NASA-funded 3D food printer, could it end world hunger? They're equating these things to the food replicators in Star Trek: The Next Generation. I think later on they say something about Back to the Future and pizza printers and stuff, and how cool and just hip and trendy and awesome it is to have this weird powder that you put into a machine and it makes food for you. So if you think that GMO is bad, and we already don't have that much control over what they're putting in the food, think of what it'll be like when you just basically have a weird food powder thing and you put that into a machine that makes food for you and prints out these cubes and stuff.
They love to point out how they're supposedly going to solve world hunger with all these food technologies, and definitely genetically modified foods is one of them. But you've been to the grocery store, even without the genetically modified thing. We've been looking at this. You don't even hardly know what's in the food anyway. It's so engineered.
Yeah, right.
And we've got major problems with them not disclosing genetic modification in the foods and all these linked health risks. And what exactly do you think they're going to be putting in food printers?
Putting in there.
And
Soylent Green.
Oh, and vitro meat. Is in vitro meat basically like micro cloning?
I mean, they've scraped. I mean, doesn't that sound appetizing? Honey, let's get the barbecue going. I can't wait to fry up some scraping cells from the necks of cows grown in tiny quantities in a petri dish thousands of times. Get that going. That sounds yummy.
If it tastes anything, if Schmeat tastes anything like meat, I don't think I'll ever know because I'm not going to try this. But
Ew.
I guess on the other hand,
Hey, can you fix me up a side of these cubes?
I wonder if we'll even be told if we're eating this stuff. I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to laugh so hard, but my goodness, like
that
what the
looks
hell
like
is happening
Fruit
to our
Loops turned
food?
into a toddler's building block or something.
Yum, serve me up a plate of that. Can't wait. Oh God.
Would milk even dissolve that stuff and make it chewable?
Stop, you're gonna make me wet myself.
You don't want to say that on camera.
I'm sorry, I just did. I can't stop laughing. This is ridiculous. This is the real world we live in? What?
Hey, they said 3D printers were going to be disruptive. I mean, you've seen already the controversy from
Yeah,
printable
it's gonna
guns.
disrupt your colon.
Yeah, well, they got a few weapons working on that.
Ew.
It's a dark world that's coming.
It's
I'm
really
really
messed
creeped
up.
out.
I'm sorry, gallows humor, you guys. I just can't help it. I can't help it. Schmeat.
I don't know, folks. Unfortunately, this is real news. I'd like to tell you it's a joke, but I could really just tell you how it relates to the Fabian Society agenda for forced vegetarianism. And
Oh gosh, that really hurts.
all right, I think it's time to sign off. TrueStreamMedia.com. Thanks for watching. If we don't make fun of this crazy stuff, they might make us eat it. I don't know.
Ew, yummy. I want some schmeat.